H.O.P.E has spoken in the teachings given out in the 30s and 40s. There's long-term prophecies, there's short-term prophecies, there's what role countries will play in 100 years, 50 years, in the next 30 years, 40 years. And each country has to play a specific destiny. India has a very powerful role to play. China has a very powerful role to play. The role of the United States of the coming times is also very powerful. The United States also has a sacred destiny. So it's a spiritually very powerful country. Its spiritual potential is very powerful. The United States and India are the leading spiritual countries of the future. But when I talked about this return of the cycles, one of the returning cycles is the cycle of which coincides with what's happening right now, is a very powerful cycle of Vedic energy. In the from 9 to 11 centuries was a renaissance of very powerful coming into the world of the highest possible Islamic energy. So that movement, that cycle that came, took Arabs to the highest possible development, cultural, spiritual. You know about Sufis of the past. 95% of the big names of all the Sufis lived in those 2 centuries. 9 to 11 centuries.
Wow.
Their work in chemistry and algebra and astronomy and you name it founded the basis of knowledge we have today. The mathematics of today was founded on the basis of what they attained.
And who is this again?
The Sufis.
The Sufis,
Yeah.
the mystics of Islam. And they had translated all the works of the Greek philosophers into Arabic. And all the original works were lost in fires in the libraries.
So they were before the Greeks? Or after?
No, they were after the Greeks, but they translated in those 2 centuries everything from the Greek
Into Arabic.
and so all that was preserved. Otherwise, it would have been lost because much of it was lost in fires. The cycle of Vedic energy would also mean teachers of incredible potency coming along, coming into incarnation on the wave of that energy. In India, very powerful teachers will appear in India. And India is prophesied to become, if not the most powerful, one of the most powerful spiritually and in other ways, the country of the world in the next 50 years. But coming back to a little more discussion on the principle of divinely directed purpose. Puts a sense of the divine in all human activity. The financial systems will be based on sharing. Politics. You know, you've heard, if you read in Indian classics, there's talk of the ancient priest kings of India in other ages that lived, their whole being was just focused to serve. They were not politicians. They didn't have the mind of the kings and politicians of today. They had no sense of self-aggrandizement. They lived to serve the people. So, a return to that.
Isn't that what Gandhi did?
We have had some teachers. We have had Abraham Lincoln, who had that quality of energy in him to serve. But largely the world is ruled by personal power and greed. And that's going to change.
But you thought Gandhi was personal power and greed?
No. I didn't say that. I said no, we will find examples of leaders who are pure, but they're rare.
But he was one of them, wasn't
Yes.
he? Yes.
So we will see science have a foundation more to serve humanity than and a balance between, you know, the spiritual. The science will be guided by spiritual energy. As the mind of man becomes, the heart of man becomes secure, and there's security, and you know, the imbalance in sharing and all that goes away, so much energy will be available for inner development and creative development. H.O.P.E also prophesied that developments in a couple of fields that will release so much energy as far as freeing man from just industry, you know, because the work will be taken over by computers and so much automation will be there, and the problem of energy will be completely solved one way or the other, partially through somehow utilizing water, and he said that in his writings. More advanced techniques of utilizing solar energy, and other ways that we don't even know yet. So tremendous energy will be available for inner development, which will take us into vistas that we have no idea right now. As far as Christian prophecies, I talked about him coming as a lion, and I explained what that meant. The meek inheriting the earth. There's a lot of general agreement that we are at the verge of that time. And these people that will be wielding this first ray, the power, the divine energy, these are actually the meek, the innocent of heart, the pure of heart. He says the word meek means the pure of heart. It doesn't mean timid or, any sense of that. It just means the pure of heart. By being pure of heart, they're worthy of demonstrating and living that first ray aspect. So the meek inheriting the earth and becoming leaders of the earth are those souls pure of hearted that will be given the capacity to manifest this first ray aspect. So H.O.P.E has also prophesied one of the plans of this time, and this is pretty specific from that will start happening this century, and I believe it's imminent also, is the appearance of some 40 or more masters, fifth degree adepts, divine men, that will appear on the physical plane. But amongst just in everyday life, they will become presidents. They will be They will be living in every area of human endeavor. They'll be scientists. So imagine if a fifth degree adept, somebody that has a totally divine mind, comes as a scientist in the world. What kind of transformation science will have? Or is a president of the country. There's even a specific mention of that United States at some point in the next 100 years will be ruled by a master, a divine man. So 40 of these divine men will appear in the world scene in different departments of human life.
Which has never happened.
Which has never happened.
As men?
Yeah, I'm using the term men including men and women. Yes.
Just curious.
Well, I'd like to address that about the whole men, women, master thing. Somebody asked Dr. David Hawkins, why are all the saints, why are there more men saints than there are female saints? And he jokingly said, oh, I guess God's a male chauvinist pig. But he was like, no, not really. He said, the male body, the central nervous system in the male body can handle the higher frequency, can handle the energy. The central nervous system of a female body traditionally cannot handle those higher levels of frequency, but that's changing as well.
Right.
And it used
when you were saying that, I was thinking that.
Yes.
Yes.
And it used to be that women were not allowed to chant the Gayatri mantra
Right.
until they had passed menopause.
Right.
Or reached menopause.
Yeah.
Because it changed the body to a more masculine body. Just chanting the Gayatri, right, and carrying that energy would change them on a hormonal level. But that is even changing as well. And if a woman is so set to be on that pathway of devotion, and simply to out of devotion and a pure heart to ask for her central nervous system to be strengthened, it will be strengthened. If, it's appropriate timing, but it'll be strengthened. And but what that means is you become less emotional. Not that you don't have emotion, but you become less emotional. as a traditional woman because your central nervous system can carry more, handle more.
Right, and on that note, yeah, there is that a balance is going to be brought about with men having ruled and all that, and so this 1,000 years has also been designated as the age of Tara, the Divine Mother. And there's one other part of the prophecy is that there were at some point in time, not too distant future, there will be more female leaders in the world.
It just happened in the last election. There's more in Congress than it's ever happened before in history.
So yeah, and so I have been told that circumstances from three-dimensional to higher will be more conducive to allow masters to appear in female bodies and then to accomplish some things that have not been accomplished before when they do that.
I heard that the extraterrestrials were going to play a major part in bringing humanity to a state of love.
There's a lot of help, unseen help, that is always there, and so the I mean, angelic presences, you would call them extraterrestrial, or other than human presences. If we
What I meant was that they're going to be accepted by the
right.
the Earth race as great agents for love.
Right. Also that, when another thing that H.O.P.E said that will happen along with the coming of the masters is the coming of great angels. Many people will see them. We are also at the verge of a development in humanity in such vast numbers that was not there before, and that is the development of etheric sight.
That's what side?
Etheric.
Oh, etheric.
Etheric sight. And that means many of these devas and beings of the ethers and nature spirits and many entities that they are either around us or you see them in the places of nature. Many beings of dimension other than ours that live on the earth, that the contact is very rare right now. It will more be open. And another way to understand this whole process is that just as along the path of inner development, there's an etheric web that separates the inner man and the outer man. And that web, it is slowly, it becomes weak and eventually is got rid of, destroyed. And that's when the inner man and the outer, perfect unity is attained. But that's happened at the fourth initiation. Corresponding to that exists in the individual man, there is an etheric web of humanity that separates the inner soul of man and the outer manifestation of man, and on a collective level. And every time a world teacher appears, that veil is rent in places. So it's been said and talked about by H.O.P.E and the other teachers that the next in this next great movement or coming of this higher quality, the whale will be rent in more powerfully than it's ever been. And so much light will rush in that many people will become very psychic, and high quality psychics will be very common. Now they're hard to find. But psychics with incredible ability will be appearing. And psychics with more developed minds, so they can interpret the symbols and the things that are seen in a more deeply spiritual, esoteric way. Those psychics of that quality will be also appearing, because so many will gain that quality. Also, you know, if you know the quality of the children that's you know, that you've seen incarnating in the last few years, what they display. Those children are coming already with a programmed life that is for this world of awakened world. And I am amazed at the quality of what the minds they have and the sensitivities they have. You know, whether you call it indigo children or whatever, indigo.
And the crystal children too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The political shape of the world will so change. The way we live now, with, you know, the way of security and incredible difficulties in traveling and all that, it reflects the way we are right now. The consciousness is of separation.
The fear.
Of fear.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to discuss is that somebody had raised this question, and perhaps it may be your minds also. And this question was asked that if the world will have all peace, does that mean evil will disappear? If the world will have all peace, does that mean evil will disappear?
I was actually just thinking about that about 15-20 minutes ago when you said that the world would, before we can have peace, a great tragedy would have to happen.
Right.
And it made me think, you know, of all of our past and how we've had the Dark Ages, and before the Dark Ages, you know, they spoke of Atlantis and Lemuria, and that it was a very peaceful time at that time, and it fell into darkness, of course, with the Dark Ages. And is it just a repetition?
Yeah, that's what I'm going into a little bit. You know, the Vedic teachings divide time into 4 ages. You can say the Iron Age, the Silver Age, the Copper Age, the Golden Age. And the one we are in right now, or there are Sanskrit names for it, the Dwarpa Yuga, Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga, and Sat Yuga. I may have not said it in the right order. We're actually in the Kali Yuga, where the tests are the hardest.
Which are those ages that you said in English?
It's the Iron Age, yes. But even though the tests are the hardest, for souls that want to really come out of the thraldom of matter in the fastest possible way, this is the most perfect age. Because even, the other ages where there is peace, there's also complacency. Tests are easier, so the progress is slower. Everything balances out in the universe. So this is an age where the man progresses the fastest. A good life from the spiritual standpoint, a really good life, is one where you have a lot of challenges, but you have a lot of strength to overcome those challenges. A life that just is easy life. The way man's mind is, we don't learn unless there are challenges. If there's be a rare soul that would learn that, unless you have come to a point where inwardness has started to rule and you're living by that. But I'm talking about man in general that's caught in three-dimensional life.